I'm getting ready to be ready on my speaking day. So it's like, let's see, it is 11 o'clock in the morning, and I don't speak until 4, but I've really taken the morning slow because one, we were up really late last night, and then 2, because I wanted to run through my slides, make sure they were good, and I actually had to wash my hair, and now I'm like curling it so that it like looks all big and, you know, big hair, closer to Jesus type situation. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, it's been so great to see everybody that's here, all old friends, new friends, all the speakers. It's been awesome. All right, final toilet, final hair. I think I'm reserving the right to come back and change it, but I think we'll be okay with this as long as it doesn't like poof out too much. Outfit, obviously I'll lose this when I go speak. So outfit with the shoes. Yeah, so excited. I did it. I spoke at Social Media Marketing World, and oh my gosh, it was so much freaking fun. Like, so much fun. Y'all, this was the first conference I spoke at since 2020. So I've been speaking at conferences for a while now. I believe the first one was in like 2017, and then I just like gradually added more speaking engagements and things like that to the portfolio. And in 2019, it really ramped up, and I traveled a ton in 2019. And honestly, it's kind of hard as a mom of kids whose husband works full-time to travel like that. So somewhere near the end of 2019, I was like, yeah, totally gonna travel less in 2020. The universe helped me out a little bit with that one, because honestly, 2020 started off with a bang in my speaking gigs too. So I actually spoke at 2 conferences in 2020 before the world shut down. So I was like well on my way to speaking at lots of things in 2020. And then, well, we all know what happened. But the first time I ever went to Social Media Marketing World, I think was 2018. And it literally went on my list that year as like a goal to speak there. I told myself I would speak there. I told myself that one day I would be on that stage, and yo, girl, did it! Was that loud? Was that obnoxious? I'm sorry. This was actually the smallest Social Media Marketing World they'd had in a while. Understandably so. It was the first one back in person, and when tickets first went on sale, nobody knew what in the world was going to go on, right? Was it gonna get canceled again? Were we gonna get shut down again? And I say it was small, but there were still like 2,000 people there. I was able to take my assistant, Laura, which was awesome. She had never been to the West Coast. She had never seen the Pacific Ocean, and she had never tried In-N-Out burgers. So we made sure we did all of those things. But I was able to take her, and she was like, this is a small one. I'm like, yeah. It's normally like a lot more people than this, which feels crazy to say. But okay. So I had been wanting to speak at this conference since 2018, and there's a lot of reasons. In our industry, it's a pretty big conference, and so 1, it's just a great opportunity. 2, I knew it would expose me to different people and different things, and then 3, it's also a great conference to kind of put on the resume, right, for speaking at other places. So when Mike Stelzner reached out and was like, hey girl, would you like to speak at my conference? I was like, yes. And it was so friggin' refreshing, like so refreshing in a lot of ways. 1, I got to see people that I either haven't met face to face, and I got to meet them face to face, or I got to see people who I had met years past and hadn't seen them in 2 years because I hadn't been to any conferences. So that was like super refreshing as an extrovert, like seeing all the people, it was just so great. But also, y'all, there wasn't a mask in the whole place. Like, okay, I live in North Carolina, and I live in a fairly rural area. I hate that word, by the way. Rural, a rural area. As you know, because I live on a farm, right? And so so like we haven't really had masks for a while here, even before it was like not a thing everywhere else. My kids have been mask free since January at school, the week we got COVID, by the way. But we've kind of been removed from like the mask situation for a while. And I fully expected to like roll up in California and be like, you know, like have to mask. I knew I wouldn't at the conference, but like I just expected to everywhere else. And I mean, it just like wasn't the case. People were hugging, People were shaking hands. I have a cold. I don't have COVID. I have a cold though. It's just a little one. It's just a little, I thought it was allergies, but now I think it's a cold. But like, so good. I mean, it was just so refreshing to like see people's whole faces, talk to people, lose my voice from talking so much, and get to speak on stage and get to see people I haven't seen in a while. And I mean, it was just so good. CTR. CTR is click-through rate. If I say CTR, it means what? Thank you. So your CTR is basically the amount of time someone sees your video versus how many times they actually click into it. So if they see it and they click into it, good CTR. If they see it and they don't, bad one, right? If you're in like the social media space at all, this is a great conference to go to because there's always a ton of really awesome sessions. This year, I think they broke it down into like 4 categories, and it was content marketing, which is where I fit, paid advertising, so like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that kind of thing. And then there was like a social media one that wasn't content marketing. I forget what it was called, but that's like Instagram, TikTok, that kind of thing. And honestly, I forget the 4th one, but they break it down in a way where you can be like, okay, I really want to go to all of these sessions, or I want to pick and choose. And it was seriously awesome. My session was at 4 p.m. on the first like technical day of the conference. They actually had workshops on what was day 1, but that's when everybody was kind of coming in and getting registered and all of that. So on the first day, I was at the 4 o'clock slot. And honestly, 4 p.m. is not a great time slot because everybody's tired, right? They've been like learning and talking all day, but Michael Stelzner doesn't know me well enough to know this, but it was a great time slot for me because I bring enough energy for everybody. It's gonna be a very southern saying. You ready? Stop getting too big for your britches, okay? And honestly, I think this might have been my best talk I ever gave. And I honestly say that from both an entertainment and value perspective. So my goal, because I speak at educational conferences, I'm always booked at conferences where people are trying to learn things, right? And I'm always trying to help them learn a thing. But my goal is always to provide massive value and make them pee their pants laughing. Like, that's always the goal. 2 hours to a target. It tastes like burnt tire water. And I feel like I nailed it with this one. Just nailed it. It was so good. It was so much fun. And I had them laughing. It was awesome. So the first day, like I said, they had like workshops, and there were only 2 going on at one time. And so I popped into one of the workshops to kind of see how full the rooms were gonna be, because some speakers may want less people, but I want more. I'm an extrovert, and so like the people really give me energy. And when I have more people there to like pick on and like engage with, it's super fun. So I went in, and those rooms were pretty darn full, divided into 2 sessions. So when I spoke and when everybody else spoke, there was an option of 4. So people could kind of pick between 4 sessions going on at one time. So I fully expected my room would be about half full. And that's exactly what happened. I was actually in Pat Flynn's session, and his room was about the same like fullness that mine had been the day before. And he said there were about 250 people in there. So that's what I'm gonna say. There were like 250 people, and we had a lot of fun. And I hope to be asked back next year, but also I'm just so freaking excited that speaking and conferences are back. If you're someone who has like questioned whether or not you should go to conferences, it literally changed my business from the very first conference that I went to. So the first conference I went to was actually in 2016. I went to a retreat. It was a very expensive conference, or at least in my eyes, it was very expensive. But I kept thinking, at the time I was doing web design, I kept thinking like, if I book one client, it'll pay off, like it'll pay for itself. And that was the conference where I had it like confirmed and affirmed to me that I should get out of web design and go into like the teaching space. And so freaking invaluable, right? Like, I don't remember if I booked a client from that or not, because I did still keep doing web design for another year or so. But honestly, to be there and have people like telling me, one, that they thought I was speaking at the conference and that I had that much authority and like that's what people thought, right? And then two, that I could totally do this thing and quit web design and move into the education space really, really helped me make the decision to do that over the next year or so. And then in 2017, I spoke at my first conference, I think in like January of that year. And I believe I spoke at a couple more that year, some like kind of semi-local, maybe one or two that I flew to. 2018 and 2019 was when it really picked back up. And I love speaking. That may not be everybody's goal, but it was definitely one of mine when I started getting into this education space. And now that I'm there, I just love it so very much. Actually, tomorrow on my Instagram, so like you guys are gonna see this on Wednesday, tomorrow on Thursday on my Instagram, which I'll pop across right here, it's just my name, at Jessica Stansberry. I'm going to drop some tips that I can share with you on how to get asked to speak at conferences or how to kind of get started. So if that's something you want to do, like hopefully that will help you there. But I just love it so much and I'm so glad it's back. I'm speaking at People of Video in Albany, New York in September, I think. And hopefully like the circuits or whatever are starting to pick back up. People are like caring about COVID less, which I'm here for. And hopefully we can get back to speaking. So if you have the opportunity to go to a conference, I highly recommend it. And if you want to speak at conferences, I will totally be sharing some tips on my Instagram tomorrow. But that's it. I really just wanted to share kind of the behind the scenes and you know, why I love to speak and how it was a goal and yeah, all those kinds of things, because I like sharing behind the scenes with you. So I'd love to know if you have any conferences on your radar this year, because even though People of Video is the only other one I have as like a speaking opportunity, I'm very much so on the lookout for more conferences to attend because I love it so much, and hopefully I won't get a cold at every single one of them. Like my immune system was like, 2,000 people. Here's a cold. So for me, I think it's very exciting. For me, I'm so pumped to like get this going again. I understand if it's like scary and if you're worried about it and things like that, but if you're excited like I am, I encourage you to find some more and let me know what you're gonna go to or if there's anything I need to check out in the comments below. And until next time, bye!